Jam-packed schedule, don't we, Val?
We do. Let's get rolling.
You want to get started?
Yes. So breakfast was provided by JD. He's not here today, but when you see him, give him a big clap because that was a good breakfast.
Our in-house lender. Thank you very much, JD. We'll just give him one big one right now. 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then our very own broker, Mark Wilds, is here. Come on up, Mark. He's going to do a broker minute, and he's going to go over home inspections.
So before we jump into home inspections with Mark, just a quick update. He is going to be coming down to the office every day, Monday through Friday from 10 to 2 with us. He's going to be doing the AMA hour where you can come in and ask Mark or any of our productivity coaches any questions or any help in your business. AMA hours here every day, Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday.
Okay. And then he's also participating in training classes with us as well. So how many years you been in the business?
A lot, since 77, so you count that up.
With 77.
Calculators.
Well, so I was born in 77.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're still kicking ass and taking names, so there's a lot you can learn from Mark. Come to his classes. We're building PowerPoints and stuff and getting him all set up as we speak. So just wanted to give you a quick update on that. And Mark, Broker Minute, what do you got for us today?
Well, just home inspections. I know we have preferred home inspector, but you want to be kind of careful with who you recommend and how you do it. We had a recent situation complaint with the Board of Realtors where they found one of our agents guilty of referring a home inspection company, and the agent was fined and had to take a bunch of classes. So you can, I believe you can all, say that you've had a good experience with a home inspector, but also tell them there are other home inspectors and it's got to be their choice who they want. You want to be careful about you ordering it for them. Get them involved in the ordering process. Yes.
I have a quick question. So I have a client that we're ordering the home inspection, and they're like, "Well, I don't know any home inspectors. You just choose." So what do we do in that?
You just want to be careful and just say, hey, you're not recommending any particular home inspection company. You'll be glad to help her. You do know of one. And perhaps we, might want to come up with the hold harmless here one of these days with that. But just tread lightly and be careful.
Yeah, so if a client comes up to me and says, I've never worked with a home inspector before, and say, listen, I have an amazing home inspector. We do tons of home inspections with them. By law, though, I can't just tell you to go with one person. So I'm going to refer you this person's name, and then we can either Google search and find some additional people for you, or you can, on your own, you can also go ahead and find a home inspector yourself. I am not allowed to say go to this specific inspector. Okay? So most people, and in a situation like this, I don't even know about it, Mark dealt with it, but I'm sure somebody said, hey, do you have a home inspector? They said, yes, I do, I work with this guy. And as soon as an issue pops up, they're going to go, well, that was your home inspector.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Yeah, you own it.
Problem.
You own that. You own that home inspector, believe me.
So is it typically how, you always give 3 options, just like lenders and home inspectors?
Preferably, I would like to see something like that. Yeah, at least 3. They say you can highlight one and say, again, we've had great experience with this one, but it's your choice. And
Yeah,
they'll probably go with the preferred one, but at least you've told them, and then make a little note. Make a little note in your file that you explained that to them, and might even back it up with an email to them.
That's what I was going to say.
Email or text, and then document that.
So, and then document that, so if it comes back to haunt you, you can say, hey, I didn't force you to choose
I gave
this
you a
home inspector.
recommendation.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
and it
all
goes the
is.
same for title, our lender, our home inspector, our home warranty. Hey, here's my recommendation. Why? They're our preferred company for many reasons, right? And you go into the reasons why we love working with our preferred vendors. But Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, you can also research and go with any other company that you prefer as well.
But in my opinion, that's the best home warranty around. If you've looked at them,
That's right.
There's no comparison to what you guys do.
Had that happen on one of Kate's files where they canceled on the day of close along with somebody else because obviously they have a choice to do what they want, and that's okay. The reason we do the seller's coverage, is to hook them in, if to get the buyer to come along. But at the end of the day, if you can let them know there are other options. This is the one that we like what they're saying. I was just going to say, would you follow up some of that stuff with an email, like per our conversation?
Absolutely.
That way you have a
Absolutely.
paper trail of it.
And then document that, save it. Yes.
There's
Yes.
somewhere we can save system we use. What is it? CSU?
Yeah, Sisu, that's it. Good idea.
Back in the
Yeah.
70s, when Mark and I were working on transactions, we had the manila folder, and on the side, we'd write in home inspection,
Notes.
then I'd open up with the tab, and I'd take all my notes, and then I'd hand it to him later on, he'd put it in another storage cabinet like these. Nowadays,
And then
you
you
go
had
in
to
the
go store, you had to go store them for 5 years in a store all somewhere and
Yeah, we're moving from storage unit
hope
to
the
storage
rats
unit.
didn't get them.
Aaron, there's also a template in KB Core that you can make that as soon as your client goes into escrow, it starts touching your client, and one of those can be a home inspection recommendation email.
Absolutely.
You build it once.
Well, you don't want to
That's it.
leave home without one of those or a home warranty. That's going to save your butt.
Yes, absolutely. So Sisu comments, that's where you take all your file notes. What were you going to say, Beal?
I'm saying that in KB Core, you can easily set up a template so that when your client goes into contract status, the DRIP campaign has an email that goes to them and recommends 3 home inspectors, and you have to build it once, and your life is easy.
Yep. Automation's the ticket too. You can send that information out without even doing, click of a button. So learn from us. We'll show you how to do those campaigns.
So any other questions about home inspections?
Real quick, Mark, what do you happen to know, or can you disclose what the fine amount was?
$1 million.
I don't recall exactly. I mean, it was probably $500, something like that, and then 6 hours of ethics, and it's a pain in the ass. Plus, you got to go to the hearing and spend all that time away from your business.
So a simple
You don't,
text or
you
email
don't,
can save
you just don't want to have to go down there if you can help it.
Yeah, and even if you're in the right or wrong, just sitting there with the division or mediation, it takes a lot of time out of your business. And you mentally just get exhausted trying to explain in detail, writing this up, sending it to the broker, then to the division. You don't want to go down that road. So take the time just to explain things and disclose a little, better with your clients if you weren't doing that already.
That was a great topic to discuss,
Yeah,
Mark. Thank you.
and then again, copious notes and emails and texts, and keep them all.
That's right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks,
On
Mark.
3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, sir.
I'll take that from you,
Who
sir.
gets the mic?
I'll go.
right.
Take it back. All right, Miss Annie Sawyer from Landmark Meadows is coming up, and we are talking what happens when an escrow falls out and somebody wants the EMD. So I'll let you get started, Annie.
Hi everyone, I'm Annie from Landmark/Meadows. I wanted to talk about when the escrow cancels, how to fully execute that cancellation. Is it being pulled up?
Yep, Ryan, you can go to the next slide. Can you make it big for Annie, Ryan?
There it is.
Okay, so I probably 99% of the cancellations I get are never fully executed. So there's 2 portions to the cancellation. The first one is to cancel the escrow. Both buyers and sellers need to initial it. And then the second one is to release the earnest money deposit. Buyers and sellers need to initial and then sign. I always get it where it's missing initials on one or either of the portions. So it's to cancel it, I need it fully executed, and then where the EMD is going. And then also to release the earnest money, there's always discrepancies on who's getting it. So I had a deal recently where it canceled and I got the cancellation from the listing agent that said EMD to seller, and then I got the cancellation from the buyer's agent, EMD to buyer, wasn't fully executed. Buyer was calling me like demanding his money back, and I just had to step back and say like, hey, I need a fully executed cancellation telling me where the EMD is to go.
And he's like, that was a fun game, but all parties need to agree where this is going before anything can happen.
Yeah. So just make sure it's fully executed.
Yeah, a lot of agents just draft up an addendum saying escrow to be canceled, earnest money to be refunded to the buyer. And then they get that executed and send it to title. Title can't use the addendum. So don't even bother with addendums.
All that is instructions to the title company. They need their own.
Correct. They need their own. And the document that we were just looking at is the escrow cancellation form in Transaction Desk or Remine, right? That's where you pull this out. And then you have your buyer sign it, and then you forward it to the listing agent, get the listing agent to sign it, then send it to the title company fully executed. They will not release any of the EMD unless both parties agree to it first. And if there's a dispute, then nobody signs anything. You both have to get to an agreement verbally, then execute that cancellation addendum or cancellation contract the right way. then send it over to title.
So Aaron, Annie, in your experience, when those two parties cannot come to an agreement, what's the next step? Is it litigation? What have you seen in your experience?
That's a great question. So you always want to figure out a way to get the earnest money released. If the buyer and seller, and let's say $5,000 is in escrow, and neither party's budging, sometimes you can go back and say, hey, can we split it? I'll give you $2,500, I'll keep $2,500 for whatever reasons have happened in the escrow to cancel. That's one way to figure it out and get both parties to walk away with something. Then if both parties don't agree to just take half of the EMD, you could go, why don't you take 1,000 and you have 4,000? And maybe they all come to an agreement then. And if you go further and they say, nope, I want the 5,000 or the other party wants a 5,000 and they can't agree on that, then it's going to go to mediation. So mediation, at which point we have to file with the LVR a mediation package. You have to file your complaint in that package. Then you set up mediation with the listing agent, the buyer's agent, the broker, and everybody gets on a mediation Zoom call, and they sit there and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Takes about a solid hour. And then the parties break, and the mediator talks to one party, mediator talks to another party. Then they come back into the Zoom call and say, here's what we're proposing. And that sometimes that works, and then other times it doesn't, because it's not binding. So if you don't come to an agreement then, the next step is small claims court. So you're going to hire an attorney, or you're going to go to small claims court. We're going to go all the way through mediation. We're going to do all of this and fight over a couple $1,000s. So when a client says, I'm going to go after that money, tell them this is a long, litigious process that is going to cost you money, cost you time, and is this battle worth the couple $1,000s you may or may not get out of this position? At which point everybody goes, I don't want to deal with any of that. Just go back and say I want to split the EMD and let's get the contract canceled. That's what will happen about 95% of the time, is going through that process. So we're explaining it to you so that you could, all the way to the beginning of the cancellation, start having these conversations with those clients that want to cancel, so that it's not chewing up your day and your time and your night arguing about something that at the end of the day just needs to be split up and put to bed. Sonia has a question.
Yes, for Annie. So I've had in the past, been in real estate for a while, where none of them came up with an agreement and the earnest money sat in title. They didn't go to mediation, nobody got an attorney, nothing. What happens with the funds after 5 years?
The money sat in the account for 5 years.
Well, it just stays there. They never received it. They just let it go. Both parties were like, none of us are getting it.
I mean, I've never heard of that. Money can't sit in our account that long, so
Okay.
we would have, I get tickers on every file if there's money still in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure my president would make me come after you guys, what's going on with this EMD. So I've never seen that on my side.
I mean, I don't know either. Earnest money usually doesn't sit in escrow that long.
Maybe someone got a bonus at the title company that year.
Well, I know.
I mean, if it happened, I'd put it in my account.
It's different states,
Yeah,
that's
I don't-
why. And I've seen it happen multiple times where the title company, after 5 years, they just put it towards research and
Research.
yeah.
For what?
Or
For
like
themselves.
classes. Or
Yeah.
like classes, like title insurance classes for the agents. So I've seen it a lot of times where the money just stayed in there and nothing happened. So I didn't know if that was a thing here or not.
I've never heard of that.
So,
Yeah.
So
okay.
But the one thing that does happen in a scenario like that, where if neither party agrees and the EMD is just sitting at title, the seller can't put their house back on the market.
true.
Until that contract is canceled and the EMD is released to whatever party, the seller is held hostage with their property off the market. And can you imagine right now, if I want to put my house back on the market to get a new offer, and that EMD's tied up for a month or 2 or 3, I could be missing the boat on all kinds of things. So then,
Many times I'll open it up with a different escrow company and the two don't talk.
No, actually, I had a file just like that. And on title, so we get a new escrow, we open it. That previous client recorded the purchase contract, meaning showing that it's in escrow, EMD is still in dispute, and we had to cancel it. We couldn't even touch it. Yeah.
right.
We had to send it back to that title company.
So in scenarios like that, I go, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm sorry, but if you don't figure out a way to release this EMD to the buyer or chop it up, I can't put your house back on the market. And usually the seller folds and goes, this is BS. this buyer defaulted and I still have to give the EMD back to that person because they're holding my property hostage from going back on the MLS. It's a shitty situation for a seller to be in, and it happens a lot. It really does. So those are kind of the discussions you guys are going to go over when you're in an EMD dispute. You know we have your back. It starts to get escalated. You don't know what to do or how to say it. Mark's your guy. You just go, hey, this is our situation. This is what we want to avoid, and we'll get it released. There's, I mean, I've been doing this for years. I think maybe 2 or 3 times me and you had an EMD dispute.
Many times the seller will soften after they get it back on the market and they resell it. They'll soften and many times they'll wind up with release.
They do. They fold. The sellers usually fold in that situation. It's unfortunate.
All right, well, thanks, Miss Annie. That was some good intel. Reminder, use that cancellation form.
I wanted to talk about one other thing too.
sure.
No, get off stage. You're done, Annie.
Your 5 minutes
It's
is
just
up.
a brief thing. It's just about security deposits.
No, go for it. You got plenty of time.
If I'm doing a seller withhold for security deposits, I do need an addendum stating that, signed by both buyers and sellers, just letting me know who's getting that security deposit still in my file.
So this isn't a situation where the seller closes escrow but wants to stay in the property and run it back.
Yes.
You're going to hold the security deposit in escrow until the seller, who is now the tenant, vacates. And when they vacate, then another addendum goes, hey, release the money to the buyer so they have it for their records.
Yes, just for compliance, you never know if there's going to be a dispute, if that's supposed to go to the buyer or seller, or if it's split. So it just has to be in writing who gets what.
Yes.
Yes.
You just did one. It's going to fall on it.
It didn't go out fully to the seller.
Yeah.
We had to split it.
Stinkers.
So now with the market changing, this is the perfect opportunity to put Annie Sawyer, Landmark Meadows on your contracts when you write your offers. And the percentage of it getting accepted as is much higher now. Because sellers will say, hey, whatever, you want an escrow company? No problem. You can have your escrow company. So that's going to be a lot easier to do now. So when you're throwing Annie's name on the contracts, it just should be easier for you. So I just wanted to kind of point that out. And we just ran numbers with our team. I got it last night from the owner of Landmark, said this was a record-breaking month for us. So I want to say thank you to all you guys.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you, Annie.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Annie.
it.
Yeah. We're keeping you. All right, First American Home Warranty. Come on up, Kevin Wool.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, let's do this. Good
I
morning,
like
everybody.
that caramel frappuccino,
That's
iced
right.
coffee,
I'm
sugar.
feeling jacked up. Let's do this.
Let's have a push-up contest.
That's it. That's right. Come on, let's go. One thing I want to remind you, 4th of July is coming up. Want to remember our military. We do offer military discount, $25 off premium. So just remember that. Keep that in the back of your head. You're working with military, whether they're active or retired. We will give them the $25 off the full premium. Seeing that our premiums aren't that much, I think 25 is a pretty good number. But I wish we could give it to them for free. That would be better. Something that's trending in our business with First American is we went to a complete online platform, which means your customers need to call in their claims either to our 800 number or they need to do it online. So it's more important now than ever for you to make sure that when you do place the order, you put their name, their email, and their phone number. We need their contact information, so that way when they place their first claim, all that information's in there. The reason we went to that online platform is because we used to send out nastygrams when you didn't pay service fees, and people get upset, obviously, though, you sent me to collections. Well, we didn't send you to collections. We just made it look like we sent you to collections. So now they pay their service fee up front, which means either when they call in, they got to pay up front or they got to pay online before they go. So we can nip that in the butt so we don't have to worry about chasing $85 service fees for years and years and years. So just remember that.
Awesome. And speaking of online platforms and dashboards, so Kevin's always so gracious to take our orders and invoices over the phone and via email. But if you wanted to log into the dashboard yourself, it's a very easy process. So on the first screen over here, you can see it's homewarranty.firstam.com. And you're going to type that you're a real estate professional. If you don't have a login already, just create one. Because you're at Resolution Realty, it's going to automatically tie to our lovely sales rep, Kevin Wool here. And you can see on the top right corner, you're going to go up to the top right where it says Order Warranty.
Yep.
Then it's going to take you to this bottom one where you're going to type in the address, and they're going to be able to see all the available packages. You can order it straight from there. You'll get a copy of the invoice. Remember, if this is being paid at close of escrow, either between the buyer or the seller, that invoice needs to get sent over to title as well.
Right, and we actually automatically, as long as you put the title information in there with the email address, with their office phone number, it'll pop up and populate their office. We'll automatically send that out for you. So you don't have to even think. We just kind of go along with the flow. And don't get freaked out if you see a 714 number tied to me, because I cover Orange County as well in Southern California. So I cover 2 areas. So if you ever see a 714 number, don't go, that's not the guy. It's still me.
You're always the guy, Kevin.
Yeah.
Do you want us to go through you directly? So I've got a listing going live on Wednesday. Do you want us to go through you, or is there an option on there for our free listing coverage?
No, you can still order online for the free listing coverage. You just don't need to fill out the buyer's information. All you need to do, and it's funny, a lot of agents get messed up by that because they think they need to fill in every single line on our webpage. If you just have a listing, all you need to do is put the property address in, select the basic plan. If you want the HVAC for the seller, you click seller HVAC. That's going to add $70 to the bottom line. It's free for the basic, $70 for the HVAC coverage during the listing, and then everything just kind of smooths through. So then you don't have to fill out like buyer and escrow and all that stuff.
Awesome.
That's all I got for you. Hopefully you're all jacked up and ready to go sell some properties today. There's lots of listings out there, so let's get some buyers.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, accomplished home inspections. Speaking of home inspections, I wanted to give you a quick glance on what their dashboard looks like if you haven't gotten a report from them in the past. So you're going to see here on the next slide, once Greg Plapp goes out and does your home inspection, he's going to send you an email when that report is ready. He's going to provide you with a username and password. It's going to take you to his website over here on the left. You're going to sign in using that username and password. Once you sign in, you're going to see your report available over here on the right-hand side. You'll go to view details. You can save the summary and the full inspection report. You're going to take those, put them in your CSU, and share those with your client. So if you haven't seen it before, I just wanted to give you some insight on what that looks like and how easy it is to use.
Yeah, we should add Kevin and Greg's website links right underneath their names in the Element support button. That way you guys can just click on Element, go to their website, and then start submitting your request. So we'll add that this afternoon.
Perfect. All right, we have some new agents to welcome, so if you see them around in the office, give them a nice Resolution Realty warm welcome. We have Miss Tiffany Ung. Welcome, Tiffany. Jen Longsworth and Pino. So thank you so much for joining us today.
And Pino is an avatar. When he's walking through, he will look like a cartoon.
Yeah.
So you guys knew I have
metaverse.
technology. Check that stuff out.
I love it. All right, we want to highlight month-to-date open houses. We have Peter kicking butt. He's done 7 open houses so far, followed by Craig at 5, Mr. Gary, which is here, at 4, the other Craig at 4, and Christian Carruthers at 3. This is a beautiful opportunity right now with all these listings sitting just a little longer on the market to get in there. We've been experiencing the last year and a half how difficult it is to get these open houses. Remember, this is the #1 lead gen that doesn't cost much money to do right up front. So take these opportunities, and kudos, guys. You're
Good job to
killing
those
it.
guys. Let's give them a big round.
All right, Miss Jenny Ramirez has a new review that just hit her Zillow account. A wonderful agent to work with. I found her to be very understanding, diligent, sincere, punctual, and had outstanding people and negotiation skills as well as great knowledge of the Las Vegas area and community. We'll recommend her to anyone without any reservations and wish her all the best. Good job, Jenny. Is she online? I'm assuming she's online.
Get your reviews, respond to your reviews, even if you sold real estate or not. Have people putting reviews on Google, Zillow, and Yelp. Very
Yes.
important for all of you guys.
Very important for our business. Miss Kier is not with us today, but book club is next week. If you want to get ahead of the game, you can purchase the book or audiobook. It's Eat That Frog, 21 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. I actually listened to the Blinkist over the weekend. Really good stuff just to kind of kickstart you into gear on getting things done. So that's going to be in the training room. You're welcome to come in person or via Zoom, and that's next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. All right, ready for a pro tip today?
No.
No.
Bring it. Bring it.
All right, so KV Core, I'm not sure how many of you dabbled in this, but KV Core offers what they call playbooks. And this playbook is going to help you generate impressions for any current listings you have on the market. I gave it a roll this last week and tried it myself with one of my listings. So one of the first things playbooks can do for you is it can send an automated message to every agent in your brokerage, letting them know about your listing. And you can see what that email looks like over here on the right-hand side. The cool thing about this is in their email, they're gonna get 2 buttons. One to view the listing, and the second one to reverse prospect within your own KV Core system. So find matching buyers. If you click that button, it's going to find everyone in your KV Core CRM who is meeting that criteria for that listing. So it's a great opportunity to find those matches, pick up the phone and give them a call and let them know about that listing. And that doesn't cost you anything. Yes, ma'am?
I didn't receive that. You did text me and say you sent it over. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I had a lot of agents did receive it. It's most likely in your spam.
Oh.
Yeah. And it said it sent it out to 99 agents here at Resolution Realty.
And there's additional playbooks. Are you covering that as well?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the next slide, another option you can do with your listing is choose a package to highlight on social media. I went ahead and did the life cycle ad for $250, and here's what it says I'm getting. Automatically market all stages of your listing's life cycle. Your ad runs for 4 weeks, updated as your listing changes. Ad will be seen up to 8,000 times. Add 40 to 50 contacts to your database. So as of last night, you can see what's been happening so far. I've had 1468 impressions, 33 clicks, and 6 leads thrown into my KV Core. So far I'm going, all right, sounds pretty promising. Obviously there's other packages you can use, but I wanted to beta test it, and so far I think it's great.
And what social media sites are they posting that on?
Facebook and Instagram.
That's right. And then how long is that $250 ad spend for?
4 weeks.
For 4 weeks. So let's circle back in 4 weeks, see how many total leads she got in and how much cost per lead that was. And then hopefully one of those leads turn into a deal / a good way to build your database and nurture some clients. Linny Poo.
Yeah, I have a question, Val. On the previous one you were just talking about, when you say it goes out to all the agents in Resolution Realty, does it look for matching buyers in their database as well? Only yours?
No, so it's just no matter what, get to send a blanket email to everyone, and then when it hits your inbox, it then connects it to your CRM to see if you have any matching buyers.
But there is a tool called reverse prospecting in KV Core that you can just use separately. So if you have a listing at 123 Main Street and you use that reverse prospecting tool in KV Core, it will search through the 50,000 leads we have and pull up people that would potentially be interested in that property, and then you would make your prospecting calls. Available in KV Core. And one of the things we were going to mention today is there's probably 50 other things like we're describing right now in KV Core that are available for you guys to use. You just might not know about them all. So at the front of your KV Core dashboard, there's a little button that shows all of their training classes that are online.
Ryan, go ahead and go to the next slide. Here you go.
Isn't it? And it's right here. So why don't you describe what those training classes are? I mean, there's tons of them that are all for marketing and lead generation and getting familiar with playbooks and how to really use the tools in the system. And that's something you guys should spend every other day having some coffee and signing up for these training modules. They're the best in the country.
Yeah, you kind of hit most of them that are on there, but when you do log in and go to your dashboard, you can see on this left-hand side, on the bottom right, you'll see live view training calendar. You're gonna hit the central, specific, I accidentally hit central, and you're gonna see everything that's available for you to zoom in live.
Amy.
KV Core has the best options and tools, but if you've got your search active in the MLS, be sure you're looking at the reverse prospecting button for that too. My listing that I had just sold just east of Summerlin, there were 35 reverse prospects in there, and there were several that the agent had not sent to their clients for whatever reason. So that's another pool that's not being tapped, that you can reach out to those agents, those buyers agents, and go, hey, what's not meeting your criteria, or do you need to change your search criteria for your client?
Good advice. Thank you, Amy.
Awesome. All right, we ready to talk about the market on a national level?
Yeah.
So we'll start with the national level first. Want to bring you need your slides. And then Aaron's going to do a deep dive into what we're seeing here locally. But we got some good intel. So, what's happening in the housing market across the country? Well, a few bullet points. Offers received are starting to decline. We're certainly seeing a shift, right? A month ago, we learned it was 5.5% of offers coming in. Now it's 4.2% on a house. Not crazy, but a shift nonetheless. Offers over asking. That's also starting to tick down. We were at 61% of homes getting prices over the list just a month ago. That's ticked down to 55%. Still incredibly competitive, but just not as competitive as we were seeing. And sales are starting to decline. And basically what that comes down to is just the pace of sales are slowing down. And inventory, with that, inventory is starting to increase. You all agree? Is that what you're seeing out there too?
Yeah, anybody got 30 offers on a property they've listed? All right.
Last 2 weeks?
I didn't think so. Who's only got one offer on a property they've listed? Yeah, one, yeah. Maybe 0 at this point, which is even worse. So we've got Mark Fleming, a chief economist with First American, who says there's been a pickup in the inventory that we've seen recently, but it's not from a big increase in new listings, rather a slowdown in the pace of sales. And remember that month supply measures the inventory of sale relative to the pace of sales. Same inventory, fewer sales means more months supply. So yeah, properties are sitting longer on the market. They're carrying over month to month. We are seeing the occasional new listing still hitting the market, but we're seeing a lot of that stuff just spill over as days on market starts ticking up. Quite substantially, I should say, too.
So a lot to unpack in that quote. So let's look at the next few visuals to help us do just that. So this next slide, you can clearly see that more inventory is happening at a faster pace than what we've seen over the last 2 years. More people are listing their home, but it's not significant. I think the biggest change that we're feeling with the amount of listings on the market is that they're just not going under contract as fast as they were. So it's not a significant amount of new people putting their home on the market. They're just sitting on the market a little longer.
I think a lot of sellers are thinking, crud, I better get on this before I miss the boat, right? I want to make sure I can still sell my property for $600,000 over its actual value, so I better put it on the market now.
Yep, all right, we can go on to the next slide. This is a really cool slide to see. So you can see home sales have started to decline from May 2022. We're at 5.4 million compared to the 6.1 and 5.6. But what we need to keep in mind when we're painting this narrative to our buyers, all that we're seeing right now is we're close to back to pre-pandemic years, right? These last 2 years were because of the pandemic. We're just moving back to where we were. And keep in mind, those 3 years were fantastic real estate years. Wouldn't you agree?
They were. And pre-pandemic numbers are really what a normal market felt like. You know, we were having 3 to 7% appreciation, not 20 like we've been seeing for a while. We were watching a video by Brian Liebel on market conditions about a month ago, and he was talking about the national stats and what's going on locally, and he referred back to pre-pandemic numbers a few times. And the biggest thing, like the takeaway from me that I keep thinking about is we were, when the pandemic hit until recently, we're going 100 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour, and now it's stabilizing, becoming more normal. So now we're doing like 60 miles per hour, and it's more of the norm and more of what we've seen. A lot of other people are not looking at it like that. They think this is a crash. They think the anxiety is high. They think there's all this potential doom and gloom when it's nothing like that. It's actually a really great time. Pre-pandemic numbers with a normal, balanced, healthy market is everything we've been waiting for the last 2 years, and it's finally upon us like that within a few months. But Vegas always changes within a few months, and then it'll start to get a little bit more normal. The anxiety will come down, and during this entire process from today forward in this new market we're in, there's more deals to be had. It's a lot easier for you guys to get more transactions, more listings, and every transaction you're submitting offers on for your buyers right now is much easier. There's a lot more room for negotiations. There's a lot more room where you're not in a multiple offer situation. And with the rising interest rates, might not matter if a seller's paying your buyer's closing costs in today's market, right? So if I go up to, I submit an offer and I go, hey, I want $10,000 towards closing costs so I can buy my rate down from 6% to 4%, boom, it's the same market at a better value and easier for you to negotiate. These are all great highlights to keep in your mind when you're talking to your clients on either side of the fence.
Yeah, and to his point, just to reiterate, the last year and a half, we've wanted this fresh breath of air so our buyers have a chance, right? So now they have some leverage. And I just want to say again what he just did, right? Instead of negotiating the price down, for example, negotiate those closing costs and use that money to buy down their points, right? That way it makes their mortgage possible for them.
Yeah, I was just talking about this actually with Kate and Sonia and how it's actually a conversation you can have today. Oh, a seller contributing towards my closing costs. God, when have we said that in the last 2 years? Not a lot, if at all. So we go to Lawrence Young. Again, we're beating a dead horse with this, but he says, home sales have essentially returned to the levels seen in 2019 prior to the pandemic after 2 years of gangbuster performance. So a lot of folks who got into the market within the last year or two as realtors, they've only seen this unprecedented market in time that we've been in. Now things are starting to normalize, and Aaron, you've got the experience, along with some of our other seasoned agents as well, who know what it's like before then, who can kind of calm everybody down, say, hold on, we're not crashing, it's just getting back to where it was. So.
Right. Yeah, and this next slide is another visual to show us getting back to where we were. So this is basically showing that there is more inventory for buyers. The dark blue line here at the bottom is showing the rise in inventory that we're seeing currently. The orange, right, was really tailing down. That was during the lockdown period, right? So obvious that that's what happened there. The green started to rise just a little bit, but never got back to pre-pandemic years. And just now we're starting to surpass that right now. So just another great visual.
Again, we go to another chief economist, Realtor.com, Danielle Hale. She says, active inventory continued to grow, rising 21% above 1 year ago. In other words, we're starting to add more options, but the market needs even more before home shoppers have a selection that's roughly equivalent to the pre-pandemic housing market. Again, we're beating a dead horse with what we were just talking about with Aaron. We're getting back to what that healthy market looked like. Yes, buyers have more options today, and if you still have buyers who haven't been priced out with interest rates, yeah, there's a couple more options sitting on the market right now. Price reductions, as we've seen, are through the roof. They're getting into a place where they can feel a little more competitive and not having to just bend the knee to a seller, so to speak.
And this is where, if I was in your position, and this is a reminder, anybody that you were working with or potentially going to work with 6, 8, 10, 12 months ago that didn't buy a home should be a phone call that you make to let them know exactly what the market's doing and say, you might have had buyer to fatigue. You might have not got that house. You might have stopped working and thinking you can buy a home. The market has completely changed. Let me tell you why. Now let's get that buyer who wasn't going to purchase back in the game to start writing offers and looking at properties now that they have a selection, now that they have closing cost opportunities, now that the market's in imbalance. That's a lot of people out there who haven't purchased in the last couple of years that should be reminded by a real estate professional what's going on today. That's your opportunity for prospecting in your database or any of your farms or any of your lead generation. We talk about the market every time we come to the stakeholders meeting on purpose. You guys are the fastest to the market with the most education, so utilize what we're teaching you on the phones with your clients.
And with what he just said, this next slide is a fantastic slide for you to get in front of your buyers.
And it shows how quickly things change and are just in a flash. We keep things updated. This is the knowledge that you got to bring to your clients. Original projections here from, what was it, Realtor.com, 0.3% was the original 2022 forecast for their inventory. They've now updated that to 15%. So clearly, things are changing. We all know that. But Realtor.com is showing you, yeah, this is for real. All right?
This is a huge message for your buyers right here. All right, we should start to see less competition, fewer bidding wars, and therefore less upward price pressure. In fact, a simple analysis shows that a 1-month increase in the month supply results in a 3% decline in annualized house price growth. And our preliminary house price index is already showing moderation in house prices in April. That's from Chief Economist Mark Fleming. So going back to what Aaron just said, this is the time to reach out to your buyers and tell them it's time to come back in and try again. And we will leave you with that, and now we'll look into some fun numbers on what's happening here in the Valley.
Yeah, now for the
Thank you,
local
guys.
stuff.
Let's give these guys a little round. We got a question from the guru.
No, I was just going to say, I love what Andrew did there with the 3 different economists. You know, if you guys got to stay educated on this market and what's going on, it's nice that they bring it all in-house here and they can show it on the screen. But start following these guys like on Twitter and on YouTube.
Podcast.
You'll get some serious information about what's going on with the market. You know, Aaron and I have been through this market all over, you know, many times, but a lot of you are just getting started in your careers. It's really important to educate yourself. And I love how that's brought in-house here, but also take it to the next level.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. So as a reminder, the Market Watch stats are being updated every Monday. So if you guys want to sit down and study the graphs and have it at your fingertips, even cut little Loom videos and send them out to your clients, the Market Watch stats are in Element. They're always there for you to click and access. So just want to make sure you try to look at where we were 12 months ago, look at where we are now, where we're going. We have some graphs up here for the Market Watch right now. You don't have to pay attention to exactly what those numbers are saying. I'm just going to give you the simple, you know, 1-2 punch on where we're going right now. So a few months ago, we were under 1 month supply. Now we're at 1.8 months supply. And when I say that, what does it mean? It means we're at about 2 months supply now and inventory is doubled. Great. It's got some breathing room now. And everything we just talked about makes sense with how the inventory is there for us to take advantage of. But it's far from 6 months supply, right? What is 6 months supply? Tell me that. A normal, healthy market. So if we're at 2 months supply, we're still a long ways away, guys. We're still in a seller's market. But I'm going to talk about what sellers are doing right now, even though it's still a seller's market. Doesn't feel like that to most homeowners. So we'll talk about that in a second. So that was month supply. We always love to track that to give us an idea if we're in a seller's market, buyer's market, or maybe just a normal balanced market. And we're approaching more of a balanced market than anything right now. So if we look at new listing inventory, we did hit a record. We had 1,745 new listings hit the market within 1 week. So a little contradictory to the national numbers you're seeing is we had a lot of people rushing to sell their homes in the last few weeks. And 1,745 trumped our 1,400 units that we had last year in September. So the graph is just basically showing you all the inventory coming to market. We went to 1,400 to 15 to 16, 1,700 homes just hit the market in the last few weeks. Our listing ISA managers are seeing listings come in more than we've seen in years. You guys should have more listings coming in right now. Stay on the phones, prospecting, farming, and talk to people. They are obviously selling, guys, and they're going to market. So that's a big tick up on the new listings, and I can't see us trending that high for very long. I think we're going to reach some sort of peak here very soon and then start hanging right around the 1,400 units per week, which will be fine. That's going to be a nice, healthy market for us to be in. If we move over to the total inventory, it's a good way to give you a little snapshot. Let's say we had 2,500 homes on the market. Now we're at 6,052 total homes. So that 6,000 is that 2 months of supply, and it is increasing. But single-family homes is 4,700 of those units. So it's still kind of that seller kind of market that we're still in. If the property is priced right and looks right, it will sell quickly. If it is not priced right and it does not look good, it will not sell quickly anymore. So any listing opportunities that you have with your clients, you have to tell them that. Because when I log into a subdivision, and before there was no active properties, now I log into a subdivision and I see 5 properties. So if I'm a buyer and I see 5 properties, which one of them are going to sell first? Best price, best looking. If you're not the best price, best looking, you are not going to sell. So every conversation you have with your clients has to be around that. or doing apples for apples in your community, then it will sell. And then when that one sells, the next one has to be the best price. And that's what every seller is going to fear is, well, if there's 5 units here and there's 5 more coming, can I hold up at this price? No, you have to come down on your price so that buyers will purchase it. Otherwise, they'll just go down the street and buy something else. Next slide shows the under contract, solds, and cancellations. One thing we have not seen at all change is cancellations. Escrows are going in, escrows are closing. The 280 cancellations we've seen is normal. It's been like that for the last 3 years. We haven't seen any changes. The under contracts has dipped. That's where the higher interest rates, buyers are backing down, said, I want to wait a while. So we went from like 1,300 contracts per week to 900. That's creating a little bit of the inventory going up, but 900 properties going under contract per week is very healthy. Very normal in a pre-pandemic time frame. So I don't see anything there that's troubling us in our market and our conditions. And then the sold properties are 724. Those were usually trending around 900. Not that big of a dip. So the buyer demand's still there. A lot of people are on the fence maybe because of interest rates, but they don't know what we know about the inventory increasing and how we can still help them out. So moving to the next slide, we're going to look at price reductions. Another record-breaking week. We went from 400 to 600 to 800 to 900 to 1,255 price reductions. Somebody please tell me what the sellers think is happening right now. Crash. They're all thinking crash, 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 crash. It's not the scenario. They just need to be coached up on being priced right and looking the right way for that buyer to come in. It also is a very big indication of overpriced homes that were in the market coming off that last run. 50% of those total price reductions we're staring at are 50% of people who priced their homes too high. So that's 600 people right out of the gate are like, yeah, I tried. Now I got a price reduce so I can get this bad boy sold. But then they're finding out some more inventory is coming in, so now they got to price reduce a little bit more. So everybody's scrambling on price reductions to get set to a point in the market where a buyer is going to write an offer, and that's called the sweet spot. What price are you at, and how many times do you got to come down on price so you hit the sweet spot where an offer is going to come in and put your property under contract? Those are the conversations, again, on the listing appointments that you need to have with your clients. In our next seller boot camp, Valerie and I are going to do a mock listing presentation where I come in as, well, we'll figure it out. I'm not going to be a mean seller this time. I'm going to be a seller that needs to move and sell my house but wants to get top dollar, and me and you are going to go back and forth on exactly what that dialogue looks like. So this is a great objection handling dialogue listing appointment at its highest level. You guys should come to our boot camp and check that out. Even you, Sonia. I don't care how many listings you sign. The market's changing, and so now your dialogue's got to change in order to get the property listed, win the listing, and get it price reduced so it sells, because I don't want listings sitting on the market.
I do want to speak about that as well. So we did interact with mean sellers when it was an aggressive seller's market. Now that the sellers think that the market's crashing, they're the worried sellers. So these worried sellers are coming with like, please, we got to make sure this is priced right. What can I do? Yeah. So yeah, we have to go in there differently now. Can't just be like, okay, whatever you want. Now it's going to be like, this is what we got to do. You have to do your research now. Right now is going to be the best time to learn how to do comps and learn how to price that property right in that sweet spot that Aaron was talking about.
Right, because you don't want to underprice it and leave money on the table. Yeah. Bad, 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 bad. Don't do that. But then you don't want to overprice it, and your client's like, why is my home not selling? Bad, 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 bad. We got to be right in the middle there, where I'm going to get you top dollar. I might have to price reduce, but let's get it on market and figure out what to do.
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm laughing with what you're saying, because what we've been experiencing the last year and a half is like, well, seller comps say this, I think we should do this, but Zillow says it's 80,000 more, and I know that's what you're looking at, and what the hell, we got 125,000 more than both of those. So I'm laughing because that definitely is such a different conversation.
No, and that's true because a lot of the sellers in the last couple of years have been dictating and telling us what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
Now's your chance to go in and actually provide them with the knowledge of what's going on in the market, be a really good advisor, and then earning their trust and value and showing them what, and earning your commission, right? This is where the listing commissions and the buyer commissions go up. Right? There's a lot less 2 and 2.5% listings. Now it's 3%, 4%. Lennar just raised their new construction to 5%. So on the buy side, that tells you the standing inventory's got to go, and I'll give you a 5% commission as a buyer's agent. And then on the listing appointment, if we were to walk in one right now, they'd be like, I'm just going to 1%. I know it's going to sell. Well, now it's not going to sell so easily, so I want 3% commission because my work and the time invested into getting this home sold is going to double, easily double getting your home sold. So now your listing commissions are going to come up more too. So that's healthy, that's good, it's normal. I had a client who's a friend of mine. He's got $1 million house, $2 million house, and he goes, I have to put the house on the market today. He goes, I'm in the middle of renovating it. I go, what do you mean? He goes, it needs carpet, it needs granite, it needs paint, but I want to put it on the market right now because it's crashing. I go, dude, no way. This is a $2 million house over by Red Rock. I go, you got to finish all that stuff. Calls me a week later, I got to put it on the market. I go, what's been done? Nothing. I go, you can't put it on the market. Every seller is going to rush to put it on the market. Slow them down and tell them until it's beautiful, I'm not shooting photos because once this goes live, you can't take it back. And I'd rather you spend 30 days getting this property fixed up. We shoot beautiful photography, then we go to market. That's the best chances of getting the best buyer at the highest value. So don't shoot yourself in the foot worrying about all these price reductions. It's still a seller's market. You have a beautiful home in Summerlin that's fully renovated. We'll get top dollar. Inventory's low, we'll find a buyer. So now he calls me a week later, still wants to do it. And I keep regurgitating the same thing, and I postponed him another week, and I'm not going to shoot photos on that house until it is completely done. And I pushed back probably 4 times in the last couple months with this guy. I think there was a question. So
Yes, what if a seller comes to you and says, I owe more than what I could sell my house for? What can we do?
that is a short sale situation.
Because, you know, we're running into that now too as on listings.
So that usually happens in new construction. And let's say the market was real hot and about 5 months ago, I bought a new construction home at like $600 a square foot in Summerlin. That's a lot price per square foot. And then roll the clock forward, it's 6-7 months later, and I got to sell that house because I got to jam out to Alabama for a new job. But now the comps in the neighborhood are only at like $400 price per square foot. That means I'm upside down. I owe $1 million on the house, but it's only worth $800. What am I going to do? 2 options. One, you rent it and just cover your mortgage payment and hope the values come back up again over there. If you can't rent it, then the seller would have to default on the mortgage for 3 months. They don't pay the mortgage for 3 months, they enter into foreclosure, at which point you can go to the bank and say, I don't want to foreclose on the property, I'd like to negotiate a short sale with you, where the bank will take less than what is owed on it in order to sell it instead of foreclosing on it. The banks would prefer to sell a home, make their money, instead of foreclosing, because foreclosing ties it up in attorney fees. Foreclosing, they have to put it back on the market with an uncertain value, and they have to put a lot more money into the property if it's not in great shape. It's a lose-lose situation. So banks will work with homeowners that are only in default on a short sale. You can't just roll up to a bank and say, I want to knock $200K off my mortgage because the value dropped. No, we would all do it, right? I'll do that with everything in life. You can't do that, so you have to default in your mortgage payment. And we had a run of short sales. I think we closed 3,000 short sales when the short sale boom happened. Will we see a lot of that now? No, I think there's certain scenarios that it could play out where somebody has to move, can't make a mortgage payment. You'll see a little rise in defaults, but nothing crazy. If you run into a short sale situation, call me. I'm the short sale master. And I'd love to bring your client in here and explain how a short sale works. Not going to go through that today because we're a little tight on time.
Yeah, let's go. This next slide, we're going to do deep dive in all the price points and inventory. This
No,
next slide,
we
honestly,
are not.
Oh, we're not. We're just going to skip right through
We're
it.
going to skip price point segments, guys, because
Cool.
I blew your brain today, and we'll go through it next stakeholders.
But I do want to highlight, we don't even need this slide anymore, but we keep it up there for entertainment value. This price point did exist for so many years as the median home price, and now there's 7. So we keep it up there for entertainment value. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, go for it.
Ryan, we're going to skip over to new listings. You can see we have a healthy amount that just came into Resolution Realty. These will be posted on the Facebook page. This week, AMA hour, 2 p.m., Monday through Thursday. Tomorrow morning, 9:15, they're doing the 5-hour buyer, part 2, for dialogue training and ERS. Join us in the training room or via Zoom. Thursday, we're having seller boot camp, going over CMA and a mock presentation with Aaron and myself, and that's going to be at 11 a.m. And let's go over these updates. So, has everyone received a QuickBooks email? Everyone should be
Raise your
raising their
hands. Raise your hands if you got them.
Great.
You got them? Okay, if you haven't received the QuickBooks update, please let us know. We're moving your credit cards, we're moving commissions all over to QuickBooks so you guys can be paid quicker, and it's streamlining our entire process. I think we have about 60% of the brokerage already done, but if you haven't done it, people at home as well, if you have not done it, we need you to do it right away. Ryan is going to be placing phone calls to agents who have not filled it out, or if you have issues filling it out, just let us know. It's a 2-minute process that we need you guys to do as soon as humanly possible.
Yes, and when you get those, your computer, especially if you have a Mac, will do an autofill situation for you if you have your information saved on your computer. Do not use that autofill function. It will time it out and your link will expire, we've learned. So do not use it. Type it out yourself. All right, reminder, transaction fees moving forward are $5.95, so any escrows you open starting in July moving forward, those transaction fees are $5.95 for all agents here at the brokerage. We are revamping the July calendar. You can actually go take a peek at it now. I think we have it about 98% updated, but Aaron once a month is going to be doing his investor workshop, lead generation classes. We're adding open house classes. Buell, Andrew, Mark Wilds, myself, Aaron, we're all going to be participating in this calendar. So lots of great things for you to take a peek at. We have so many agents that are pulling leads from the Pond and Mojo. You know who you are. Kudos for utilizing these lead sources. I know Christian's gotten a listing from, I think it was a Pond recently, correct? So congrats on that. And as a reminder, our awesome owner, Aaron Alessi, has decided to make those leads an 80-20 split instead of 50-50. So we appreciate your hard work on those.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
We mentioned Mark Wilds is going to be here daily from 10 to 2. Please pick his brain, especially. All right. Your excuse for tomorrow. You're so funny. He's such an amazing broker, and his knowledge is definitely unmatched. So if you have any hiccups in your escrow or just want to pick his brain, please come and sit with him. Thank you, Mark, for all you do and for always answering your phone for us. Team Challenge. We were going to do this a couple months ago, but had to change the gamification and get it updated within Sisu. We have now. So we're going to be kicking off these team challenges starting August 1st. So you're going to start seeing some emails for signups and more details to come on that. And 4th of July is fast approaching. All admin will be at home working mobile. So if you need us, just reach out to us.
I have a question. Where is a great place to watch fireworks in Vegas?
Boulder City.
Red Rock.
Boulder
Green
City has
Valley-
the best
Green Valley
fireworks show in
Ranch
the
at Red
valley.
Rock.
My house will never be done, so I'll be in renovations until I pass. So it's not going to be there. I need to go somewhere. So
Green Valley Ranch.
Boulder City,
You can come to my party, Aaron.
Green Valley Ranch. Red Rock. Okay, Red Rock. Suncoast. Okay, you can bring me all the way to Circus soon?
Caesar's Palace.
Caesars. Well, good. Is it?
And it's Independence Day, not 4th of July, okay? The holiday is Independence Day. Every country has 4th of July. We have Independence Day because that's when our country was founded.
What's your Independence
That's when
Day
our
movie?
forefathers went to work.
Favorite Independence Day movie?
Anyone I'm in.
Ah, come on, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy.
Hit me up on TikTok.
And, you know, we really like to consider ourselves a family here at Resolution Realty. And when one of us is in need, we want to make sure we all get involved as much as possible. I'm sure you guys saw on the news a little over a week ago, there was a huge fire downtown. 10 homes were completely destroyed. Unfortunately, our very own Jeremy Donnelly was part of that. His house completely is totaled. He went home and found out there was nothing left. So we did set up a GoFundMe. I mean, he basically is just starting over now. So if you can help him in any way, we ask that you do. The GoFundMe is up here above me and also on our Facebook page.
Anything you guys can contribute. Anything. I mean, and that fire wasn't like, hey, let me get in there, grab a few things that are important. Every single thing that he owns has been burned in the flames. So he's literally starting from scratch. And I called him last night and we were talking, and he goes, you know what the funny part about all this is? The only thing that I had on at the time when I went home to the fire was a Resolution Realty shirt.
Aww.
And he goes, I started talking to people and I potentially have some clients coming out of it. I go, no matter flames or not, man, you just brand yourself with a shirt and you can get transactions out of it. So we laughed a bit. He's in good shape. Everything's starting to calm down. He's working with his insurance companies, etc. But a little money here and there is going to go a long way. So we appreciate anything you can contribute.
Yes, we're thinking about you, Jeremy. All right, just a couple shout outs. Andrew and Buell, if you want to meet me in the back.
Lock it up, shout out
Yes.
time.
I want to give a shout out to one of our brand new agents, Amy Pointer. She's only been with us a few weeks. As soon as her license arrived, she landed an SOI buyer. Mind you, she's from out of state, somehow got a SOI buyer here, got them under contract, and she tells me yesterday, Val, the listing agent told me I was up against another offer that was better priced than ours, but she said she loved my communication skills and wanted to work with me. So I think that's so stellar. And as a reminder, who we work with is part of these transactions, right? So always be on the up and up and be willing to work with the other agents. So kudos to Amy Pointer with the GCI 5300 coming in.
My shout out, no free shout out, goes to Mr. Marcel Mack. Funny thing is, he's a coach by trade, but he's also one of the biggest team players we have here in the brokerage. Multiple times, whether we were on the team together when Growth was around or as his coach now, situations have presented themselves where one of our teammates needed help, and not only has he been the first person to raise his hand to help, he's expected nothing in return. So he's got an abundance mindset and is always there to help his teammates, so I really appreciate that. Thank you, Marcel.
Woohoo! And Miss Amy Needle says she has a shout out.
I have a shout out for our very beautiful Valerie. We've been in this building now for almost a year. This is our year anniversary. We had been promised on the Flex team that we would get trainings that were specifically for Flex. We get awesome trainings by Aaron and everyone else for the entire brokerage. There were some holes that needed to be filled, some things that were missing. So I would like Valerie to please ring the bell, because Val and Andrew made sure that we actually had our very first ever specific Flex training.
Thanks, Amy. That's really
Let's
sweet.
go, Val.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
I'm going to round this off. I want to actually shout out everybody here and everybody who's on home. It's 150 degrees outside. Gas prices are through the roof. The market's tanking and crashing. There's hysteria everywhere, right? I joke about the market. Don't worry. We're all educated, all right? But you guys are showing up here on Tuesdays. You're getting educated. You're getting yourself ready to get out there and kick some ass when everybody else is floundering. So kudos to all you guys. Keep showing up.
All right.
That's a wrap. Any
That's a
closing
wrap.
words?
Everybody at home, have a great week. Everybody here, love you.
Lots of food still in the kitchen.
Yeah. Good round.
Let's go.